Yo, what's going on, guys? Uh, Today I'm going to be talking about one of my strategies that I use along with others, but today I'm going to focus on specifically support and resistance. I'm going to dive into what it is, how do I identify key levels. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's dive into it. So right now, what we're looking at is the S&P 500, right? And what you see on the screen is green candlesticks and red candlesticks. And the time frame that I'm on right now is the 1 year time frame. So each candlestick represents 1 day, right? Okay. So with that being said, the first thing that I do when I'm identifying support and resistance is I look at the yearly time frame. So that's what I'm currently on right now. This is the yearly time frame. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a top-down analysis, and I'm gonna start from the left and go and work my way towards the right. Now, thing about it is that since this is 1 year's worth of data, if we hover over here to the right-hand side, this is where the current price of the stock, well, I'm just gonna call it SPY because that's the S&P 500, and this is what we're looking at. This is the price of SPY right now, right? So if I come and hover over here, this is showing on let's see, 8/7 2024, right? That was the date, right? So I'm gonna start from, I'll start from around this area, and I'm gonna put in some key levels that I think hold um you know like those are points where there's either buyers or sellers in those areas specifically, right? Where there's either a bounce or a breakthrough or reversal. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in, which is you're gonna go to price level, and I'm gonna draw in my levels. So I can already see a level from around this area, which would be around, let's see, around here. So draw it in, and I'm gonna bring it all the way right there. Okay, so this is one level. Let's see, it came up, came down. This would be another level, but this is far from the price of where it's at right now. So it came back up, came down, came up right here. So this would be another level about this 575 area. So draw it in. And then another level would be around this 585 area. So I'll draw that in. Uh, and then there's more levels up here, but right now this is irrelevant because the price of SPY is in this area. So like I said, I want to focus on what's more relevant. And if I come right here, I can identify like another level about right here. And then we have a low down here. So I'll just put in the low for training purposes, which would be right here. Okay. So now that we identified um, my areas of support and resistance for the year, what I like to do is I like to come down to the monthly time frame. So this is 20 days worth of data, and each candlestick represents 1 hour. Okay, so and for this one, I would identify my levels. So I'll look do the same process over. I'm gonna do my top-down analysis starting from the left all the way down to the right. And as you can see from the chart, just by looking at it already, you could kind of already get a gauge of where my zones and areas, my key levels are at, and it's pretty accurate. As you can see right here. So there, I'm gonna draw another one in around this area. So I'm gonna draw it across and put it like right here. And this time I'm gonna color code it blue because that's gonna help me know that this is just for the month. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it blue. All right, down blue. Press OK. So this is gonna be blue. Um, so it touched one area, came down, which I have already my yearly zone. It was accurate. You know, I don't have to put another one there. It's already there. Came up, at this point, came back down, came up or here, came back down. You can see it's still within this area. So what I'm looking for are other key levels, which I could see a level about right here. Okay, so I'm gonna draw it across, put it in, and like I said, this one should be blue because it's the monthly level. All right, so I'm gonna put it blue. And then I have another level about right here. So I'll put it in, put it all the way across, come down, and this would be blue. Okay. So now that I have my yearly levels and monthly levels put in, I'm gonna come down to the 5 minute time frame. So I'll go to the 5 minute time frame. So this is 5 days worth of data, right? This is 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna identify weekly key levels of where SPY has been trading in. And so as I come right here, I already have a level and it was the monthly level, right? It held true to its key level. All right. You can see the yearly levels are still there. They're still holding true to it. And let's just do a level right here for training purposes. We'll put it right here. Put it in around this 572 area. Would be like a weekly area to watch out for. It's a key interest. Other than that, I mean, it looks pretty clean. So we'll leave it as that. So typically what I like to do is, and don't have no more than 5 yearly lines, no more than 4 monthly levels lines, these blue ones, and the white ones no more than like 2 or 3, because the last thing that I wanted to have all these lines and for me to get confused, right? So then when I'm actually placing trades, and I'm zoomed in into the chart, it's going to look like this. And I could already get a great understanding of what is happening here based off levels, right? Like I said, this is only one strategy. And there's traders out there who only use support and resistance. And it works. Support and resistance works. Um, and as you can see right here, so at one point, the stock went down near a support and it came up, hit a resistance and it shot down, hit support, came up, right? So I'm gonna do a breakdown of how do I identify support and resistance. That's one. And then like how does it make sense, right? So basically how I identify support and resistance, let me go back to the yearly time frame. So this is just like a quick overview. So if you zoom in right here, you can see that the candlestick touched this area one time, two times, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times it touched that area. And what I mean by touch, it either width or it really like closed at that level, right? So what helps me identify is that if it touched that area multiple times, that's how I know that it's a key level where it's either going to get rejected or it's either going to break through, right? And then same thing happened with over here. If we look, it touched it one time, two times, three times, four times, five times, six times, seven, eight, nine, 10 times, right? And so then um so that's how I'm able to decide where's my support and where's my resistance. Um, what I'm gonna do right here is I'm gonna pull up. Um, let's see. I'm gonna pull up not that. I'm gonna pull up the pink pad. Okay, so the pink pad. All right. So what I have here. So let's say you have all this stuff going on. Let's just do it. Yellow, all right, yellow. So say I have like yellow going up and down, up and down. Pretend these are the candlesticks, right? And I have it going up. All right. And then I have a line right here, which would be my resistance. So I'm gonna put an R for resistance. And then down here, I have a support, which I'm gonna put an S. Let me see, S for support, right? And in the middle, I have the candlesticks. So they're doing their thing, it's hitting it, coming down, it's doing this thing, and it goes up, right? And so it's staying within my resistance and my support. It's staying within that area. As soon as the candlesticks break out of an area, which is a key level, and it starts forming a new little area, well, now I'm going to have another line because it hit this multiple times, right? It hit this multiple times and it would come back down. So now I've identified a new support and resistance. So at one point, this line right here was a resistance. Remember, it was a resistance? But now, since the candlesticks are above my resistance, it's no longer a resistance. Now it's a support, okay? Because the candlesticks are above it, right? And it's holding above it. So this becomes a support. And then a new resistance would be right here now, a resistance, because it's resisting this area multiple times and it comes back down, right? To support. Okay, is that making sense? So I'm gonna go over it again. So now, this time, if we have it up here and it comes down back over here, right? And remember, we had a support level from all of this time, while it still holds value, right? It still holds value. So, say for example, the candlestick is coming down, it breaks through your support, right? Because now it's support. See, breaks through it, and we know that right here was a support level before, prior, right? Remember right here, it still holds as the support, right? So if the candlestick is coming down right here to support, what's most likely to happen at support? What's most likely to happen at support is that it's going to bounce up, right? So think about it as you're in like in a two-story building, three-story building, and you're in your house, right? And you have a bouncing ball, and you bounce the ball down to the floor, and what's going to happen, right? The floor is support, right? And you're going to throw it to the floor. It's going to bounce off the floor and go back up, right? While as it's going up, let's say it touches the ceiling, right? And which is resistance. What's most likely to happen when that ball touches the ceiling? It's going to come back down, right? Because it hit that resistance. So the same thing, so the same analogy we're going to use for trading, right? As the candlesticks. So pretend the candlestick hits support. It's going to touch support. What's going to happen? It's going to bounce right back up. If it hits resistance, what's going to happen? It's going to come back down, right? Those are the two scenarios that can happen. And so we come back to the chart right here. Well, if we come back to the drawing that I did, um, remember this is a support from last time. Well, if the reason why it's a support is because the candlesticks are above it. Now, say if for whatever reason the candlesticks break through the support, now it's doing all this right here, and then we know, okay, it's holding another area. So this is gonna be a new support. And say for example, and then now this right here, if it goes back up, what is this area going to be now? It's going to be resistance. Okay, let's do it. It's going to be resistance now, right? So what was once resistance turned into support, and what was once support turns into resistance, right? So these are just key levels that are going to help you when it comes to the 5 minute time frame when you're actually executing your trades. So I hope that all of this right here made better sense. So right, I did a little drawing, I gave you guys an analogy, and now if we look back at the chart, now we're going to put it all together. All right, we're gonna see that if we see, okay, what happened here, if we zoom in this area, if we focus on this area, what happened right here? Well, what happened was the candlesticks came up. What did they hit? They hit a resistance and it came down, right? Touch of resistance, came down. Touch of resistance, it broke through resistance, So now that was not, once the candlestick is above it, now it's support, right? Touch this other area, came down a little bit. But if we look over here, it broke through it, right? Right? It broke through it. It came down, broke through it right here. But then now look, now this area is a support, right? So it came up right here, came down, held support, came back up. Okay. So that's how I'm able to identify my support and resistance, right? Also known as key levels, right? Some people like to call them also like supply and demand zones, but I just keep it simple: support and resistance, right? Wherever the candlestick is, all right, just think of it as a bouncy ball, right? If it's getting near resistance, it's gonna come down. If it's getting near support, what's gonna happen when you throw that bouncy ball support? It's gonna shoot up, right? So we take a look at the 5 minute time frame, which that's where we place our trades from, or well, that's where I place my trades from. If we see right here, we zoom into today's action, we can see that there was a support level around this area and it shot up to a resistance and it came back down to a support, right? So it really, really helps you when you're day trading. Support and resistance are great to use, to implement. Um, and like I said, that's one strategy that I do use along with other strategies, but we're going to say that for another video. I hope this video made sense and I hope you guys got some value from it. All right, guys, much love and respect.